Rome continued to live in Constantinople. The Roman Empire was no longer in Rome. It was in the east. Why Byzantium? It was on a peninsula. 3 sides were already protected by water. The 4th side had a humongous wall. This wall secured the city and made any invasion of the city itself very unlikely. Byzantium only fell in the 1400s when Turkish invaders brought up new cannons. A new technology made those walls obsolete. Until that time, Roman emperors were secure behind their walls and in their palace in Byzantium. Byzantium also had access to Eastern wealth. The eastern part of the Mediterranean had always been the richest part of that world. The agricultural regions of Egypt, Anatolia, and the rest of the ancient Near East provided grain to feed the city. Bread was a staple of everyday life, and as long as the Roman Empire could provide bread to the masses, Rome remained secure within the walls of Byzantium. Rome as an empire, though, shrank dramatically. You can look on this map and look at the eastern part of Europe. That pink region was the Roman Empire. That's all that was left. Basically a small region of the Balkans as well as Anatolia. Rome simply shrank in order to live. The foundation of Roman government, however, remained a dictatorship. The strength of Roman rule depended upon its army's ability to exercise control in the ancient Near East. The Byzantine emperor became increasingly autocratic, divorced from society and divorced from anything going on outside the palace. His will was law. The emperor appointed strategos, generals, to maintain control in cities under his authority. Those strategos then exercised local control as if the emperor himself were there. The Emperor Byzantine provided a brief moment of hope for the Roman Empire. Byzantine actually carried out a successful reconquest of the Italian peninsula. He was able to wrest control of Italy from barbarian kingdoms. That reconquest, however, did not succeed in the long run. Byzantine's successors ended up retreating back out of Italy into Byzantium itself. Byzantine also provided hope with a new law code. Over the centuries, Roman law had become overly complicated and incomprehensible. Byzantine had scholars sit down, simplify it, redrew it, and reissued the Justinian Code. The Greek Orthodox Church provided support for the emperor in Constantinople. The Greek Orthodox Church was a Catholic church, a church ruled by apostolic bishops, a church that recognized the sacraments of baptism and communion. Unlike the developments we're going to see in the West, the patriarchs, the lead bishops in the Greek Orthodox Church, were considered equals. The leader of the patriarchs was in Constantinople, the Patriarch of Constantinople. He, though, was only first among equals, because above the church was the emperor. This concept is known as Caesaropapism, that the Caesar acted as the leader of the church. The church was subordinate to the state. The emperor, as in other aspects of life, maintained direct control over this religious organization. They worked for him. He didn't work for them. Continuing with the tradition started by Constantine, the emperors of Rome built churches around the Mediterranean world. One of the most spectacular was Hagia Sophia, Holy Wisdom, in Constantinople itself. It blended Greek and Roman styles to produce a magnificent building. Inside you see the great domes. That dome architecture was pioneered by Roman engineers centuries earlier. Covering the walls were intricate mosaics. Greek and Roman artists had developed this technique centuries before. Now this was applied to Christian iconography. One of the most popular images in Greek Orthodoxy was the image of Christ enthroned, as if Christ were the ruler of the universe. This type of image reinforced the idea that God wanted a single person to rule, and in Byzantium, that was the Emperor of Rome. The Muslim pressure from the East, however, proved too great for the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantine emperor appealed to his Christian brethren on the other side of the Mediterranean. This was the beginning of the Crusades. Pope Urban II in 1095 promised Christian knights salvation if they went to fight Muslims and defend the Byzantine Empire. After struggling to defeat Muslims in the Holy Land, Christian knights then settled on sacking Constantinople. Financed by Venetian merchants, Christian knights laid siege and sacked Constantinople in 1200. This was a humiliating defeat for the Byzantine emperor. The next 300 years was a period of fragmentation and retreat. Regions slowly defected away from Byzantine rule. Until around 1400, the Byzantine emperor only controlled Byzantium itself. The Byzantine emperor simply retreated behind the walls of his city, there waiting the eventual defeat by the Turks. The Turks used cannons, tore down the walls, took control of the city, and put an end to Byzantine rule. For 1,000 years after the fall of Rome then, Rome continued to live on in Byzantium. The Byzantine emperors claimed to be the legitimate heirs of the Roman Empire started by Augustus in the 1st century of the Common Era.